We just saw Wish I Was Here, and the way the show works is I take a couple friends out to see a movie, we watch it, we come back, we review it in the car, and then after the review we kind of have a little bit more of a discussion. So if you're looking to see if this movie might be for you, watch the review section. If you've already seen it or don't care to see it and just want to hear what we thought, watch the whole video, check out the discussion. So this movie is going to get, everybody's going to compare this movie to Garden State because it's, you know, Zach Braff's second feature film that he's directed, and he's the star of it. And you can see a little bit of that in it, but I really didn't, not that I have watched Garden State all that much, but it didn't really feel to me like a second one of those. The movie actually, I think, works better as, it would be better to describe it as sort of a family drama, or you know, sort of a drama with comic elements. It's not a comedy film. It doesn't hit those notes quite as hard as you would expect it to. It uses them to break it up from being an extremely sad story, an extremely sad movie. I'm really glad I saw it. I would say that as far as who I would recommend it to, definitely fans of Zach Braff will like it. But I would say, in generally speaking, even if you're not a huge fan of his, if you can get past the first 10 or 15 minutes or so where the story kind of clunks a little bit, it gets much better. And the dynamic between him and Mandy Patinkin, his father in the movie, and Kate Hudson, his wife, in both real life and the movie, and Mandy Patinkin, I thought was especially strong. So I would recommend seeing it. What'd you think?
Yeah, overall I liked it, but you're right. It doesn't have the feel of Garden State at all. And, you know, it's supposed to be the spiritual successor, but it's, you know, Garden State, as I remember, is actually one of my favorite movies back in 2004. And, you know, I watched it last night trying to prepare for this because, yeah, there's going to be comparisons.
Good, you can fill everybody in on the differences.
And with Garden State was actually more music heavy and focused. It didn't have as much dialogue, you know. It just kind of,
that's a good point.
It had more music montages and stuff. And this movie certainly has a great music soundtrack, but it doesn't rely on the music so much to reach those emotional highs. But that brings me to the thing I hated most about the movie is, you know, Dale just pointed out that it clunked at the beginning. I thought it clunked along throughout the whole film because it would go from, you know, joke, odd character here, odd character there, and then, oh, platitude. Let's sit and think about this platitude for about 2 to 3 minutes, followed by a musical montage.
That's definitely true.
Yep, joke. Oh, here we are at his dying father's bedside for the 4th time. And it, you know, it just comes to a grinding halt. And
that's a good point.
So it oscillates violently from being funny, which it certainly is at points. It has its comedic moments, to just, you know, trying to be too emotional, too sad, and, you know, it just kind of lands with a thud sometimes.
Yeah, and that's fair. And I think what they were going for, honestly, was, you know, I think the first part that I didn't enjoy was them trying to put sort of a funny face on making light of how bad their situation was.
Right.
That part didn't work for me. And I think just as a storytelling tool or as a filmmaking tool, if they had told, because the focus of the story they wanted to tell is a really sad story,
right?
It's a really emotional story, and I think their plan was to break that up, like you said, into chunks to where it doesn't hit you all at once. It hits you a little bit, and then as soon as it gets some things a little bit emotional, it cuts to something with them being
there's a robot
goofy.
man all of a sudden, so
The shenanigans kind of stuff.
Right.
So that's the basic review. Check it out if it sounds like something you want to see. Don't let us spoil anything for you, and we'll dig into a little bit more discussions on it. So when I'm talking about the movie feeling kind of clunky at the beginning, I had I really didn't have any like vested interest in the story at the beginning, where they're talking about how Zach Braff's character is sort of a failed actor. His wife is the only one bringing in money. They are sending their kids to a private Jewish school, and Zach Braff's father is paying for it because he's like really traditional and wants the kids to grow up, you know, with the Jewish school, the Jewish heritage, and all of that kind of stuff. And it took a while for that to really like sink in and go somewhere. Mm-hmm. It just seemed like it really spent a lot of time. It spent a lot of time like not really giving there weren't consequences.
Yeah.
Yet it was just sort of like Zach Braff just got to do whatever he wanted and be goofy.
Yeah.
And then eventually it was like, oh wait, we have to make this a bad thing that hasn't figured out his life yet.
Yeah, and, you know, speaking of that beginning, you know, it established this reality where Zach Braff is supposed to be, you know, out of work actor who, you know, puts his career aspirations, his failed career aspirations ahead of his family. You know, so he was supposed to be kind of like a loser, jerk, deadbeat dad. But yeah, he gets too many opportunities to be goofy and funny and charming that it's like, the audience can never not like him.
We can't stay mad at you.
Right. Yeah, you're neglecting your family, but you're that guy who was in Scrubs, by God. We're going to let you get away with it. And yeah, through the remainder of the movie, his character, the jerk, is actually the one who, like, solves everyone else's problems. And it's like, but did his character ever, like, you know, have that epiphany moment? I didn't see that, you know?
Yeah, I mean, there's the one scene with him talking to Mandy Patinkin, and I think what it gets into is, I mean, there's sort of a running thing where he kind of chastises his dad for the fact that every time they're alone together, his dad brings up his brother.
Right.
And wants to talk about his brother instead. And instead of talking to his brother, the father actually tells him, the reason I always bring him up is because I don't know how to tell him I'm sorry for how I've been to him. I felt like he got more information. I don't know that he necessarily came up with anything on his own or like really learned anything specifically to himself, but I think that idea of his father passing down to him, not necessarily like the traditional, like, make sure your kids get this Jewish thing down,
right?
But more keep this family together. Like, that's what I really wanted you to do. And I just didn't know how to say it. Like, I didn't know how to really make that happen.
But it took a long time for them to get that out, you know?
Yeah.
How was it, 4 or 5 visits to his deathbed?
It did. And there was a lot of comedy that relied on Zach Braff making funny faces, which,
yeah,
if you like that, you like that, and if you don't, it's like, okay, get on with it kind of thing. From a direction standpoint, I felt like all the other actors did a really great job. I felt like Zach Braff as a director did really well.
Yeah.
The scenes with Kate Hudson and Mandy Patinkin were amazing.
True.
Really well done. There were a couple of shots that were weird. There was like one shot where it was just kind of washed out, and I couldn't really tell why they went that way. Like they just...
Oh, where his daughter was cutting her hair in the mirror?
Not that one. There was one where like they were sitting outside, and he went to sit down, and the camera movement was really bizarre, and he just kind of seemed out of focus, and it was just like they were shooting... It just seemed like they were shooting it kind of weird, but that's a really technical thing to complain about. So,
yeah, I will say, well, if you want to talk technical, and again, comparing to Garden State, this movie had a lot. It actually had CGI in it, and actually...
yeah, that's true.
It seemed like a bigger budget film, you know, which is surprising considering all that.
Do you feel like that added to the film, or do you felt like that just took you out of everything every time it happened?
I think Zach Braff, he got more money from that Kickstarter campaign than he anticipated, so he's like, sure, we can add a CGI
that was always,
robot.
No, that was always there. That was always in the script.
Oh, okay. I did not know that.
Yeah,
so.
that was always part of the script. I just felt like it switching to Halo every 20 minutes or so, it really felt out of place. Really didn't fit in with the rest of the story.
I mean, I see what I was trying to say was, he's early in the film. He always said he liked to pretend to be the hero and he had to save the day and all that. And throughout the movie, that's what he's doing. He's just kind of saving the day. But again, at the beginning, it established that he was just this kind of deadbeat dad who was very selfish, put himself ahead of everybody. So it's like, at what point in the movie did he suddenly decide, hey, I'm going to be that hero I always imagined I was? Because I missed it. I don't know if you caught it.
I also wanted the moment where he was, if they were going to go that route, where he was in the hero suit while his brother was also in the hero suit.
Yeah.
I wanted to see them together.
True.
Doing that, and that part never came across either. So, so it's kind of. It's hard to say this that this would be unexpected, but it's kind of a shame that it's a little bit too Zach Braff focused.
Yeah,
it's little there's a little too much of him going on in the screen.
And that was especially apparent. There were a lot of cameos by various Garden State and Scrubs actors.
Yeah.
Some more prominent than others. But it was very obvious whenever Braff had a scene with them that he would, suddenly the fact they're making this whole separate movie went out the window and it was just the two of them riffing off each other.
Yep.
Case in point, when he ran into Donald Faison at the Aston Martin dealership,
Yeah.
And Donald Faison played Turk in Scrubs, suddenly it was like, oh, their old buddies just joking around, behind the scenes of Scrubs.
Well, and that was really the only time we got to see him act.
Yeah.
I mean, his character's supposed to be an actor, right?
Yeah.
So that's the only time we saw him affect an accent and try and pretend to be something else. And seriously, that for me seemed like a problem. Why don't we get to see why? What's wrong with him? Why isn't he getting work, or is he just struggling because he's in LA and everybody's an actor in LA, kind of thing? But overall, I mean, I'm not upset with it. I'm not mad I saw it. It's not going to be, it's certainly not as groundbreaking as Garden State, but it's in the same ballpark, I would say, as that. Loud motorcycles. And that'll do it for us. Thanks for watching. Hope you like the way we do these reviews. If you do, please like us, subscribe to us. It helps us out quite a bit. And check out all the written and video reviews over at DaleMaxfield.com. Thanks for watching.
Thanks, guys.